Hey guys, in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to install an aftermarket radio into a Hyundai Elantra. This particular car is a 2002 model, however the procedure should be the same for any 2000 to 2006 Hyundai Elantras. For this job you're going to need a couple things: a Phillips head screwdriver, a plastic pry bar or bone tool, and if you don't have one of those you can try your luck with a flathead screwdriver. For the radio installation part of this, you're going to need a roll of black electrical tape, some wire cutters, some wire strippers, and some wire crimpers. To get your dash panel apart, you're going to need to start by taking out the two screws located above the instrument cluster. Next you'll have to remove the ashtray located underneath the climate control panel. In the opening where you pulled the ashtray from, you'll find two screws. Remove both screws. Now take a plastic pry bar or bone tool and carefully pry up the dash panel. Work slowly and take care not to break any plastic clips. Applying even pressure with both hands, work your way up and around the instrument cluster. Now would be a good time to lower the steering wheel column. This will make it easier to remove the dash panel. And to avoid having it fly off on you, it's a good idea to remove the cigarette lighter. Now with both hands, pull gently and evenly on the bottom of the panel. Now on the left side of the dash, you're going to want to pull out the dash panel a bit and unplug the dimmer switch. Press hard on the release button. It may give you some trouble, so wiggle it a little bit and it'll come out. Now pull the dash panel out as far as it will go. We're going to have to unplug some more stuff. Reach behind the panel and start unplugging each of the accessories. Depending on what options you have installed in your car, you may have 3 to 4 plugs. And remember, these plugs can be tricky, so push down hard on the center release tab and wiggle it a little. It should come free. Next, unplug the single power connector that feeds the cigarette lighter and illumination lights. Now with both hands on the panel, pull out and rotate upwards and over the steering wheel. Place the panel somewhere safe, like the back seat, the trunk, or on a workbench, so it doesn't get scuffed and damaged. To remove the radio, there are 6 screws that you need to remove. The pocket and the radio are connected together by a bracket, which I'll show you in a little while. Once you have all the screws removed, go ahead and pull the radio and pocket out together. It may give you some trouble coming out. In my case, the antenna had popped off. Push the center release pin on the radio harness and pull out. The radio is now free. Alright, so here's this bracket I was telling you about. The pocket is connected via this bracket to the radio. We're going to have to remove the screws on the sides of the radio to release it from the bracket. Once you've removed both screws, you could easily pull the two apart. And there you have it. This is the radio that I will be installing. However, the methods I'm about to show you can apply to almost any installation. When opening the packaging of your radio, make sure you have the following items: the radio wiring harness, radio screws, and the keys for the radio cage. The radio cage usually comes on the radio itself, and it's easy to remove. Just take a flathead screwdriver and pry up on each of the locks on both sides of the cage. The cage won't be used in this application because we are doing a direct mount to a bracket, but in some vehicles that use aftermarket dash kits, the cage is necessary to secure the radio to the dash kit. Also, don't forget to go to the store and pick yourself up a stereo harness for your car. and some 22 to 18 gauge butt connectors. Remove 2 machine screws from your package of hardware. We're going to use these. Now it's time to take the pocket and connect it to the radio. Slide the radio in between the 2 brackets. Use the screw holes closest to the front of the radio that will allow the radio and pocket to line up neatly. On this particular vehicle, only 2 screws are used, 1 on each side. Remove your vehicle wiring harness adapter from its packaging and start flexing all the wires out and spreading them apart. This makes it easier to crimp each wire individually. Both wiring harnesses are color-coded, and it's as simple as connecting a black wire to a black wire, yellow wire to a yellow wire, red wire to a red wire, green stripe to green stripe, and so on. Sometimes your radio or car harness will have options that the other harness doesn't have, and these will be extra wires that you'll have laying around. Just butt connect the ends of these and leave them open. Sometimes your harnesses will come pre-stripped with a little bit left on the end. I find that these are usually too long for butt connectors, so I like to trim them back a little. This allows for proper insertion into the butt connector. More common on radio harnesses, you'll sometimes find some of the wires are much longer than the rest. I like to cut them all even so that they're all the same length. This makes it easier and neater when using butt connectors. When stripping the wires, I generally only strip about 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch of wire. Any wire stripper will do, but the automatic ones make it much easier. Give each of your stripped wires a couple twists. This makes it much easier to insert into a butt connector. Now for crimping, I use these heavy-duty and expensive crimpers. Any crimper will do, really. You can find them at a local auto parts store or a hardware store. They're generally pretty inexpensive. And when you're done crimping, it's a good idea to tug on the connection a little bit and make sure it's not loose or won't come loose later. Once both harnesses are connected together, I like to take them and wrap them up with some electrical tape so they're not all over the place. Just in case you have to pull the radio back out, it'll just make it easier and avoid getting wires caught. And that's it. Installation of the radio is the exact opposite procedure as removing the old one. Reference the beginning of this video if you need help. Go ahead and enjoy that new radio.